up guys, EJ here, back with a video finally. I know it's been a while, certainly since I made a video and certainly since I've done one of these videos, which is my top 10 films of 1988. I've been trying to motivate myself to make more videos recently, and yeah, so I'm determined to finally finish these videos, my top 10 films of the 1980s, to go along with my top 10 films for every year that I've been alive. So yeah, I think the last one I made was before Christmas, and it's been a while since my last video. So yeah, let's do this. Top 10 films of 1988. So at number 10, counting down as always, we have License to Drive. One of my all-time favorite teen comedies, directed by Greg Beeman, and of course starring the two Corys, the late great Corey Haim and Corey Feldman, and of course the beautiful Heather Graham in her first film role, I believe. Yeah, Corey Haim plays Les Anderson, young 16-year-old high schooler, thinks he's about to get his license so he can get the hot girl. Mercedes Lane, played by Heather Graham. Absolutely love this film. Corey Feldman, awesome as the best friend. Just a great movie with so many quotable lines. My favorite scene is probably the driving test scene with Corey Haim and the driving instructor. I use so many quotes just from that scene alone while I'm driving. It's a hilarious scene. One of many in this film. The parents in this are great, played by Richard Mazer and Carol Kane, and Nina Semezko, really good as Corey Haim's sister as well. Just a hilarious film. Absolutely love it. Not a film that I used to own when I was in England, so I've had a great fond affection for this movie for 25 years now. Absolutely love it. Just watched it a couple weeks ago. Yeah, License to Drive, one of my favorites, at number 10. Okay, up next we have a sports comedy classic, and that is Bull Durham, directed by Ron Shelton. One of many sports films he's made over the years. Kevin Costner, of course, awesome as Crash Davis, a sort of lifelong minor leaguer who is tasked with sort of bringing along the new young hot prospect, played by Tim Robbins, Nuke LaLoosh. Hilarious movie, and of course one of my all-time favorite actresses, Susan Sarandon, in one of her most sexiest and funniest performances, as the woman who chooses which one of them she's gonna sleep with for this season, and of course that sort of messes up their season as they go along. So many great moments, so many great scenes. Of course, Kevin Costner's speech about what he believes in is probably the most notable, but a great film, three great actors at the top of their game. Bull Durham, one of the best sports movies of the 80s of all time. Great baseball film, of course. Bull Durham at number 9. Okay, up next at number 8 we have a great film from a great director, and that is Talk Radio by Oliver Stone, one of my favorite directors. Eric Bogosian, sorry, I always get those two mixed up. Fantastic as a Dallas talk show host, radio DJ host, sort of a shock jock. Yeah, just a great film, co-starring John C. McGinley and Ellen Greene. One of Oliver Stone's most least talked about films, Talk Radio, but a great movie nonetheless. Yeah, Eric Bogosian, fantastic performance by him. Just a great movie. Talk Radio at number 8. Okay, up next at number 7 we have a Criterion Collection, and it's by number 55, and it is The Unbearable Lightness of Being, directed by Philip Kaufman, starring Daniel Day-Lewis, Lena Olin, and Juliette Binoche. Fantastic film set in 1960s Czech Republic, or Czechoslovakia as it was known then. About a womanizing doctor played by Day-Lewis, and sort of this weird relationship between his mistress and his wife. played by Lena Olin and Juliette Binoche. Yeah, fantastic, haunting, uh, romantic drama. Just a great film, definitely deserving of a Criterion release. Yeah, just a great movie. The Unbearable Lightness of Being at number 7. Okay, up next, one of my favorite films, comedy slash action movies of all time, and that is Midnight Run, directed by Martin Brest. Of course, starring Robert De Niro and Charles Grodin. De Niro plays a former cop, now a bounty hunter, tasked with bringing an accountant who's embezzled millions from the mob, played by Charles Grodin, from New York to LA to collect a $100,000 bond from his boss, played by Joey Pants, Joe Pantoliano. Just a great movie with a great cast. It's so much fun. These two people across country trying to evade the FBI, headed by Yaphet Kotto. Great performance by him. I love his scenes, especially the ones with him and De Niro. Yeah, Dennis Farina, awesome as the mob boss. Really funny. The supporting cast is all great. It's got a great soundtrack. Just a really fun, cool film. I've always enjoyed it. One of De Niro's best and sort of least talked about roles. He's great as Jack Walsh. Yeah, not a huge fan of Charles Grodin, but he's good in this. He's sort of suitable for the accountant who doesn't want to sort of endanger his life, even though he's done one of the stupidest things in the world to endanger your own life by stealing money from the mob. But yeah, Midnight Run, just a really cool film. At number 6, let's say. Okay, up next at number 5, another Criterion, and Spy number 70, and it is The Last Temptation of Christ. Fantastic film, of course, directed by Martin Scorsese, starring Willem Dafoe as Jesus Christ, Jesus of Nazareth. Great supporting cast, of course. People like Barbara Hershey and Harvey Keitel. Yeah, just a really cool film. Well, not a cool film, but a great film. The Passion of the Christ, of course, came later. But yeah, Last Temptation of Christ, a great film in its own right. And again, one of film from a great director, which really doesn't get talked about much anymore when it comes to Scorsese. Everybody talks about Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, Goodfellas, The Departed, and so on. But yeah, still a great film from a great director, The Last Temptation of Christ. At number 5. Okay, up next, another comedy classic from 1988. Just a brilliant film, absolutely loved it for a long time now, and that is Big, of course, directed by Penny Marshall, starring Tom Hanks, who plays a young 12-year-old boy who, of course, wishes he was older, wishes he was big, and then he goes to this carnival and wishes in front of this weird magical machine. I always remember the face of that machine and like the mouth opening and the sort of weird weird look of that machine. And of course he wakes up the next day to find he's a 12-year-old boy in a 30-year-old's body, who of course is Tom Hanks. And then he goes to New York with his best friend, who's still 12 years old and looks it, and he ends up working for a toy company and gets into a relationship with Elizabeth Perkins. Just a really, really sweet film. One of sort of the highlight of Tom Hanks' comedy career in the late 80s, before he sort of turned into a serious actor, even though he's always had a great sense of humor over the years, since films like Forrest Gump and Philadelphia and so on and so forth. But yeah, his films in the 80s are all great classic comedies, but Big sort of has a heart all unto itself, and it's one of his best from that time period. And it's number 4 on my list. Okay, up next we have number 3, great comedy as well, and that is A Fish Called Wanda, directed by Michael Crichton, of course written by John Cleese, sort of a Monty Python cast spin-off. Just a great, hilarious film about a about some jewel thieves and working in London. Kevin Kline, awesome. And, yeah, he won the Best Supporting Actor for his performance as the guy who screams "asshole." Um, Sort of sadistic hitman and boyfriend to the always stunning Jamie Lee Curtis. Um, yeah, Kevin Kline, just awesome. Really funny in this film. I've seen this movie a bunch of times when I was young and fell in love with it. Sort of around the same time that I first watched Big and License to Drive and so on. John Cleese great as the sort of very proper stand-up barrister who gets mixed up with these crazy characters. Michael Palin, of course, awesome. Just a really cool film. A Fish Called Wanda, one of the great comedies of the 1980s, to be sure. And number 3 on my list. Okay, up next we have number 2. Just a great film and a winner for Best Picture that year, and that is Rain Man, directed by Barry Levinson. Of course, starring Tom Cruise and Dustin Hoffman. Tom Cruise, great as Charlie Babbitt, a sort of young, selfish yuppie who discovers his father has just died and has left most of his inheritance to his estranged brother, a autistic savant played by Dustin Hoffman, Raymond Babbitt. Just a fantastic performance by Dustin Hoffman. He won Best Actor for his role, of course. Yeah, just a really sweet, touching film. One of Tom Cruise's best. Of course, you can see it's cool slip cover with a little sort of clear slip case. Yeah, Rain Man, definitely deserving as one of the best films of the 1980s. Two great actors in a great film by a great director. And that's number 2. Okay, number 1 has to be, for me, because it's my all-time favorite action film, and that is, of course, Die Hard, the first of 5 now, directed by John McTiernan. Bruce Willis, great as New York City cop John McClane, who comes out to LA to spend Christmas with his estranged wife, played by Bonnie Bedelia, and of course he meets her at a Christmas party at the building where she works, Nakatomi Plaza, and of course a bunch of foreign terrorists take over the building, led by the always awesome Alan Rickman, and sort of the defining role of his career as Hans Gruber. Just awesome performance by Rickman, absolutely great as this really sort of menacing but suave and sophisticated, almost gangster-like terrorist. Alexander Godunov plays his sort of main henchman, the blonde-haired guy who gets into it with McClane on a couple of occasions. Just a really cool film. Just everything about this movie, just sort of the humor in it and the action scenes alone. Sort of the definitive film of a sort of lone guy facing a great number of enemies in a confined sort of setting. A lot of films were made after this with similar styles, but this has always been the best in my opinion. The first Die Hard, the interaction between him and the Leadfoot cop, all that stuff is great. The stuff at the end with the FBI, one of them is played by Robert Davi, Johnson and Johnson, no relation. All that kind of shit is great. Rick Ducommun has a great moment. He plays the city engineer who has to shut down the building. Rick Ducommun, he was in The Burbs. I just remember his name and his face because I love The Burbs so much. Speaking of Tom Hanks and his 80s movies. But yeah, Die Hard, my all-time favorite action film and my number 1 film of 1988. So there you have it, 10 films from 1988. Let me know what you think of this list, and give me your list as well. Let me know what you think of the films that are on here. Thank you for watching as always. Please subscribe. I do plan to make more videos from now on and in the future, and I will do my best to do that. So yeah, thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see ya.
Bond. James Bond.